Ladies and gentlemen in crypto, watch this video if you're interested in exactly what's happening to crypto right now. And the long story short is that the people over on X, over on Instagram, you name it, all the social platforms have completely lost their mind. And when I say that, I mean, over the last couple of days, it was bear posting all the way to the bottom. And what I mean with that is every single post I saw was people saying, it's over, we're going to go down to zero, there's no recovering from this. It was absolutely crazy. But all of a sudden, since Bitcoin recovered from 53.5K, right now is at slightly below 58,000, everybody's saying that the bull market can't continue and that we're actually in a really bullish spot. The trend is now reversed. We had ourselves a couple of trend lines that are now broken up and that things are finally back to normal. Snake oil salesman is what I keep seeing over on my timeline and people that don't know what they're talking about. And when I say that, I mean, most people just like to go with the trend. They like to say, oh, we're going up, so we're going to keep going up, or we're going down, we're going to keep going down. And I will say that that's the best way to trade, but mostly on a longer term scale. And if we're talking about longer term scale, it means you go and look at for example, the 3-year cycles. Or the 4-year cycles, I guess, if you're talking about Bitcoin's halving. What we usually see, is about 70 weeks of accumulation, 70 weeks of crazy bull market vibes, and then 50 weeks of this bear market correction. And I'd say that bear market correction ended roughly November of 2022. Then imagine about a year and a half of accumulation, doing pretty good, slight upward bias. And then after that 70-week phase, so after a year and a half or so, you start going pretty exponential. And afterwards, again, 50 weeks of downside. In the midst, you have many times where the price goes down 20, 30, maybe even 40%. And when that happens to Bitcoin, your altcoins go down 70, 80% sometimes, which is a risky part about getting into altcoins, which is why I always say, do not buy altcoins in the 120 weeks that are not the other 70. So they're basically up and coming now, not fully here yet. We'll probably enter that phase as the Ethereum ETFs get approved and Ethereum starts raging on and actually starts overtaking a lot of Bitcoin's dominance, starts trending upwards on the ETH-BTC chart. You'll see. I will talk about this on the channel. But throughout time here, it has almost never been worth it to buy altcoins in those 120 weeks, only in the 70 and another 70 weeks, I'd say, even there, only about a year or so, if not slightly less, of it is a really, really good time to be in altcoins. And people often mistake this by saying, you know what? The trend means whatever happened the last few hours or few days. And right now we're in a downtrend. Depends on what type of time frame you're trading on. If your idea is to trade on the really, really short term, then that might work out. But if your idea is to get yourself positions, get yourself that 1000x, over time, over the next, let's say, year or two or whatever, you don't got to worry about these short-term trends too much, unless you're just thinking about, hey, should I start buying lower now or wait a little bit? But even there, my general non-financial advice thoughts are, if you just keep on buying your way down lower, you'll be solid. It's really just not that hard. And I think I have to keep making the videos saying that people are lying to you. They'll say, oh, we're going to zero. Oh, it's going down. Oh, this cannot recover. Oh, the selling pressure is going to be too much, because that gets clicks. It's not necessarily actually what they think, or they're just taking the easy way out by saying whatever's happening, because at that point, you always look like the one that's right. If prices are going down, you're saying, yep, it's going to go down further, and it goes up. Think about it. People will still be happy. Think about that really carefully, and that's why it's so easy to say, oh, things are going to go down. If I now start saying, guys, Bitcoin will probably go to $10,000. I'm really scared here. But it goes up to 70. It goes up to 90. Everybody's too busy being happy that prices are going up to realize that I was just saying that things are going down. And you might say the opposite, but in history, and the opposite being that you're saying things are going up, but they're going down. I personally think that's always justified when it's an uptrend basically forever. If you look back at the history of Bitcoin, right? It's had some down times, sure. But how long has it really been in a downtrend for the longest? 50 weeks? Not even, right? It's not even been a year that prices actually went down, but it's been multiple years of only up, with, again, 30% corrections in the midst or so. But I consider that to be, if you just keep buying, you might have to wait a couple months, but you always make money unless Bitcoin dies out, or it changes the pattern that is formed over the past almost 15 years. And that's, again, the key to this all. If you just keep stacking through, then all this news of Mt. Gox, German government, all these slaps in the freaking face, pow, 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 they don't really matter too much because it doesn't change the thesis. And if you get that right, if you get that in the back of your head, then there's nothing to worry about. Everything is easy and everything is joyful. And again, you have to also make sure your positions don't get liquidated. I had one of my Bitcoin positions, I think, got wrecked. And that was all, honestly, just because I got a little bit too loose. If you're trading with leverage, you got to make sure you have all your accounts in a simple little overview of sorts. So you remember where you have positions open. And there's a lot of good ways to do it, but people can get lazy. My big positions, though, that I've shared over on Telegram, etc., they're still open and good to go. I just always keep buying lower and lower. And I think one thing I could change in the future is actually supplement it on another account to actually just only open on those lower levels instead of DCAing significantly on my already open positions. And that way, instead of being, for example, at the start, minus a very big amount and then keep on buying to get that minus lowered because your average price lowers down. So percentage-wise, it's a lesser minus. To then also have an account where from that point forward, you're basically just only in the plus. Or at least have an even lower average price. So it's just mentally a little bit easier to do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's just some stuff that you will definitely get acquainted with if you are trading a lot more and you're worried about average prices and about how it affects you mentally to be down significant numbers on your positions. Regardless, though, right now it's still Bitcoin is king. Soon enough, Ethereum might be king, though, so I keep both positions open. I have a Solana position open at all times as well, just because Solana is a crazy coin that sometimes does some crazy moves. Those bounces are nice. Phantom, like I said a while back, I always keep open. I bought a lot of Phantom this dip because, again, I told you if it's below 42 cents, snatch it up. It went to 38 or so, I think. So I snatched a good amount of that up. And I think it went back to like 45 or whatever pretty quickly afterwards. It's, again, a little thought of mine that worked out pretty joyfully. For the rest, I've not really been buying anything. Almost all my altcoins are down to the freaking gutter. And it's my own fault for not listening to my own thoughts, which was, don't go for altcoins until the season starts showing itself. Don't try to be the hero by buying these coins now that they're low. I always say it's better to actually go for the altcoins when the trend is there rather than trying to predict when the trend's going to happen. And so I'd rather get my almost guaranteed gains on Bitcoin and ETH and then switch it over into altcoins when it's time and miss out on the potential 3, 4, 5x that the altcoins do at the start, but then get the crazy gains from the altcoins, the 100x, the 50x, whatever, when the trend's there, but then hopefully missing out on all the altcoins that go minus 90 and never recover, because many of those coins do. And I've been portraying the same strategy time and time again, but I just wanted to quickly say to you guys again what my thoughts are, what I'm thinking. Nothing particular in terms of news has been happening. The only thing that I can talk about is Trump. And when I say that, I mean, Trump has been an interesting character, to say the least. But people are saying over on Twitter that if Trump gets elected, we're going to see a crazy Russian price. Now, I'm not a fan of anybody, and I'm not against anybody. All I'm saying is that that's what's been going on Twitter a lot. The people are saying if Trump comes up, things are going to get crazy for crypto. All I know, though, is that people often put up these expectations of how politics are going to play out for prices, and often they don't. It does make sense in a lot of ways because I think Trump is grabbing the more pro-crypto side and Biden the more against crypto side. But still, don't let that fool you. Don't think it's guaranteed. But it is something I'm keeping in the back of my head for potential trades along with that. But yeah, that's about it.